Good morning and welcome to the Morning Charge. My name is Chris Kerr, I'm your host, and this is sponsored by Reactive LLC. I want to thank you for joining us again this morning. This morning we have lots and lots of news to share. Again, we're running a little behind, just so much news. Yesterday, all we had was bad news. Today, thankfully, all we have are good news. And we're going to start today with a quick little piece of news that came out tail end of last week about one of the big trends that seems to be happening a lot more with businesses these days. As more and more people are going online to do their shopping, apparently Mother Nature is going more towards the era of the department store. Take a look at this news story. Apparently, last week there was an issue with a bear that decided to walk into a Pittsburgh mall, in particular a Sears store. The bear was tranquilized and dealt with, and a few hours later the bear was kind of taken outside. And then they noticed a second bear was spotted near the same Pittsburgh Mills Mall. So apparently, bears like Sears. Who knew? Anyway, that's your news. You can find lots of information about the two bears all over the internet. Just look up two bears and Sears in Google. Next, as always, we move from news item to story, or tool, I guess. News story to tool. And today, actually, I want to share a tool that I think you'll find very, very useful. Many of you know about a tool or a website called Dropbox, where you can share directories of files that integrates directly into your Windows Explorer, so it looks like it's an extra drive of your hard drive. And it's a very useful tool. When I tripped over this the other day, it's called Mediafire. And it really is a powerful, wonderful, cool tool that starts off with a lot more space than Dropbox for free. It starts off with 50 gigs of free space. And it has lots of advantages in terms of collaboration, in terms of sharing files. You can do one-off shares, which makes your e-commerce delivery a lot easier. You have just a wider range of permissions and functionality at the moment. And then, as it says, if you want to do a business account, you can even get up to 1,000 gig pretty easily. So, for free, 50 gig of space, individual drop-offs, file sizes up to 10 gigs, so if you have to do those office videos for your next web promotion and whatnot, this is a much, much more powerful tool for free than the free Dropbox version that you get standard. Both have lots of advantages, and I'm not knocking Dropbox at all. I use it regularly, it's a great tool. But Mediafire is something you want to look into. Next, we go back to news, and not so much news, but it's a really particularly useful tool, I guess, or concept, shared by Forbes magazine. Now Forbes, I forget whether this came out today or in the last few days, but Forbes has a link on it, and the link I will share later on our website in the news section. But if you go to Forbes and you Google how to pitch anything in 15 seconds, it's probably the fastest way to get the answer. If you Google how to pitch anything in 15 seconds or less, you're going to get this video by Forbes. And the video is actually done by a contributor to Forbes. And this particular guy is very, very good at explaining this concept. What it is it's basically a map, a visual map of how to present whatever your product or service is, really in about 15 seconds, tops 30 seconds if you absolutely have to. And he shows why and how. And his advantage is he does this for major corporations with immensely complex products, where you have to explain how, for example, 4G LTE works. And he can break that down and dissect it into components that you can share that anybody can understand in 15 seconds or less. Well, if you think about it from the point of view of getting your message out to the general public, this is an awesome exercise to go through over and over again until you master it, so you can get the information you need to out disseminated and understood in 15 to 30 seconds or less. Again, Google how to pitch anything in 15 seconds. It will make a huge difference in how you present your business. Now we're on to a tool called Wildfire Social Media. And the reason why Wildfire is an interesting thing, and it's monitor.wildfireapp.com, is that Wildfire is one of these tools that helps monitor your social media standing. And it will do a variety of graphing and charting, and it will do a lot of comparing. So if, for example, you wanted to compare your page versus a competitor's page versus another competitor's page on Facebook, you could do that. Same with Twitter. It doesn't really have any bigger depth than Facebook or Twitter, but that's where a lot of the statistics and the analysis and the research going on in social media right now is anyway. And they're the two most open formats for researchers and analysts to go look at. So given that, this is actually a pretty powerful tool all on its own. But to give you an idea of what this free service does, I'm going to take a look at the leaderboards so you can see what is in the lead in terms of likes, in terms of general interest. So obviously Facebook, the app page, has 114 million likes. Facebook itself, its page, has almost 70 million likes. Texas Hold'em Poker, the app, has 63.5 million likes. More than YouTube as a product. Think about that for a second. And the first person that reaches the list in number 5 happens to be Eminem. So if you want to break into the top 10, you really have to go past the deceased Michael Jackson before you even get a kick at it. There's a lot you have to do to be able to get that far up the chain and have that kind of an impact on Facebook. But it's an awesome tool, Wildfire Social Media Marketing, or monitor.wildfireapp.com, to be able to show you where you rank, how you rank, and why your business is performing the way it is. This is just a leaderboard. Of course, there is more specific information. You can look at Facebook rank by likes, by check-ins. You can take a look at Twitter rank by followers, by following, and by tweets. So if you take a look at tweets, who's the most babbly of all people or organizations on Twitter? Apparently, almost 3 million tweets goes to Internet Radio, at Internet Radio. And if you go down to the first one where the average person might recognize it, there's a gentleman here, Robert von Huren. I have no idea who he is, but on his own he's got almost 1.2 million tweets. That's a very, very busy tweeter. But again, it does give you a lot of ideas as to what makes this volume of ranking so powerful. And it also tells you how active they are over 7 days, a month, or 3 months. When you're tracking your social media trends, that's a really important stat. So that's what I wanted to share with you. Monitor.wildfireapp.com. In more news, because we have a bonus news segment today, found this yesterday, and I thought this would be very interesting for our social media followers. YouTube apparently, and this is from CNET, so this isn't kind of junk news, but you can take a look and find more about this all over the internet, because this is in fact a fairly commonly available article by Derek Kerr. YouTube apparently has been beginning that process of consolidating the Google identities and your YouTube identities. Now, they talked about this last year, that this was going to be coming. And now they're really starting to encourage it. So Google's online video platform, YouTube, is now giving users the option to start using their real names on its service, or whatever your Google identity is, along with hooking up your Google Plus profile with their YouTube channel. So this really makes your Google Plus much deeper entwined with YouTube, if that's what you want to do. And generally I'd say that's a good idea, which I'll have to follow myself because I haven't paid anywhere near enough attention to my Google Plus account. I'm busy looking at everybody else's. So take a look, see what the news is on that process. It may impact how your various accounts network with each other. And it's definitely worth checking into to see what formula Google has come up with for making that transition easier. And now finally, in reactive news, we're doing a lot of promotion over the next 2 or 3 weeks in particular. You're going to see a lot of news out of Reactive. And first off, we're doing a lot of cleanup on our LinkedIn page. Many, if not most of you know me through LinkedIn. And as a result, you should know that we have just updated our Reactive company page. We're adding on a list of services and products. We're going to take a look at posting any new jobs or careers offered in there. We're going to have a whole slew of new data going onto our company page. As a result, it's certainly worth looking into because you never know. If I post a special on there, it may be a 1-day special, it may be a 1-week special, it may be a 2-month special. You're not going to know unless you're paying attention and following our company page. So go ahead, go to LinkedIn and search Reactive LLC, and you'll find us, and go ahead and become a follower and see how you can take advantage of all the new stuff happening at Reactive. So that's our sum and total program today. That's everything for the morning charge. Please let us know what you think of the show and what we're doing right, what we're doing wrong. Always want to improve and bring you more and more informative stuff, more tools and things you can use, and definitely more and better, more fun information. So leave us a comment, send us a note, and thanks so much for joining us, but most importantly, join us every day on The Morning Charge.